Hey Libra, how's everything going? First I want to apologize for the delay in getting your video out. I have a few more that I need to do. I did pull your cards yesterday, and I have been on the road traveling, and I have been trying to make space for everything since I've gotten back and set up. It's been difficult. But before I get into your reading, I will just warn everybody that I use some adult words sometimes, and I don't want to offend any families or anything like that, so I think it's just better that I put that out there. Nevertheless, this is my channel, and I will speak as I please. Now, I'm going to look at your cards here. You have a lot of cards, and I think I should warn you, you might be here a good 45 minutes to an hour if you want to look at everything, but I just wanted to let you know. I'll try to get through it as quickly as I can. Before I get any further, I will point out that if this message doesn't resonate with you, or you're not vibing with it, you might want to check your, as a matter of fact, I recommend checking your moon and rising sign. And if you're looking for love messages, check your birth chart and look which zodiac sign your Venus resides in. That's where you will find your love messages if you don't find them here. And additionally, you can check your Vedic sidereal if you want to go that far. You just check that calculator. Now, the Vedic sidereal, they actually use the whole sign system. They don't focus so much on the sun sign as they do the moon and rising sign, but they recognize the whole sign system instead of just, focusing on one. They're all as important, and they have nakshatras and different sections, and those are the star sections. It gets pretty complicated, but it's pretty fascinating. And I've read through it, and I think it's really neat. I'll touch on the cusp issue briefly. You can look in the month before and the month after your sign. If you're born 6 days, I think either way, forwards or backwards. The guidelines, I think, are 6 days. I'm assuming that's right because the sun moves about 6 degrees every degree a day during that 30-day period. And I do go the 6 degrees. So, yeah, so September the 19th through September 25th would be a Virgo Libra cusp, and October 19th through the 25th would be the Libra Scorpio cusp. So, yeah. And I guess the same would hold true for the end of November into December, if, I think so. I think that's right. But you guys know when your birthdays are. You can figure that out. So let's see here. We've got... Oh yeah, look what I did. All rise, Libra, you are the sign of justice. If you're from Maryland or Delaware, you know what this really is. Otherwise, for everybody else, it's a judge gavel. Nevertheless, I will be the coolest girl at the picnic next year. My crab mat, because I bedazzled it. You are the sign of justice. The sign of balance. It's a lot to handle. You balance the entire Zodiac system. You are the scales, and you balance everything. It's a lot to handle. And it's true that the metaphorical sense of the Zodiac kind of can be a representation to the person's personality. And that's why you can read someone's birth chart and kind of get a read on that person. Carl Jung developed the 12 archetypes of personalities, and he studied under Sigmund Freud. I don't know how much credibility people put in that, but I do. And that's all that matters right now. I started pulling your cards, and something really wonderful happened with your reading, and it kind of caught me off guard. I think it was so easy, but it was so much, and I had to try to, figure out what was going on. I was getting a lot of the same message throughout the whole reading until I really started looking at the season that we're in now compared to the personality traits of your sign, and we're in fixed water. And everybody's telling you to stand back, lean back, keep your mouth shut, analyze everything, and it's take a step back, bite your tongue. And Libra's sitting there like, something's wrong, I need to say something. I'm not sure where your other placements are, but if you have fire in your chart or more air in your chart, you want communication and immediate communication. And you want that in a season when everybody's telling you, not to speak, or you're trying to talk to people who are down in the dumps, or, people are angry. You have serpent's tongue, the sting of the scorpion. But Libra's like, this is the truth, I need to say it. But the difference between you and other signs is that articulation is your gift. Fair articulation, honest articulation, communication, negotiation. I think about the word synchronicity. The Greek for the Latin prefix syn is, I think it means alike or the same, and chronos is time, so synchronicity. Everything comes together, synchronizing. That's what your sign is. It's balance. Cohesion. You take care of everybody. And you don't want war. It's the one sign that wants peace. And gonna look at your card. Pull these cards out here. I tried to get a set amount, but more would fall out, and then I would say more need to come out, and then the story just came together. And so the first card that came out here was the Devil, and these are underlying energies, but this energy kind of ran through the whole reading. Not that it's bad. The Temperance card came out too. They didn't come out separately, really. These were together as an underlying energy. I was kind of looking at it like the good and the bad, right? It's balance. Yeah, think of like the Devil and the angel on your shoulder. I like these cards because they look like stained glass windows, but you can't get a good idea of what it means. So I did pull out the Temperance card from the Rider-Waite. That's so you could see what the Temperance card really looks like, and you can see she's really balancing your emotions, because remember, the cups in the water signify emotions. You do not like to feel unbalanced. That is something that puts you in a place that you're not comfortable. And I just found myself trying to make everything symmetrical on this table when I was setting it up. And I wanted everything lined up just perfect. I wanted them to look balanced. And it was weird. And then I had this angel, and if you can see, her wings broken. I kept trying to set her up, and she kept falling over. I was like, it's a strange coincidence. I mean, they're old. They were my grandmothers. So yeah, the next card I have here. Oh yeah, I pulled this deck first. And you have the Six of Air and the Six of Water. And in this card, you're struggling with your intuition, and there's something here going on that you want to say, or you want to say something or leave a situation. And you're trying to hold yourself back from communicating, or you do want to communicate, and you're holding your gut, your center, your sign of intuition. They say that's your second brain. And if you can see, she has her eyes closed. Oh, in Greek mythology, someone is said to have a special gift of insight. If you see a picture of a goddess or something with or a god who's blind or is blindfolded, they're supposed to have the gift of insight and subconscious power. That's why you see the eyes closed or blindfolds on some of these cards, because they reflect mythology a lot, or the artistic impressions of Greek mythology. But yeah, the second brain, the stomach. I would also say the heart too, but. And you're trying to take the advice from Scorpio season and not say anything. And it really is a head over heart decision. But something here. someone has hurt you through communication, I think, with words, because the swords are words and the water is emotion. So someone has hurt you with their words. Now, looking at this card, you're either about to completely move past this or you have moved past this, because I feel like if when you hear these words in your head, or if you still communicate with this person, you just hear this that violin in your head. And in this card, I see that you're analyzing a situation, but you're feeling like you're more confident, or this person made you feel this big, and then you got bigger, and then you got bigger, and now it doesn't even bother you, and you just have a look on your face like, eh. It's like, meh, whatever, you know. And I think that those stars represent the stages of healing for you, maybe. Yeah. Because the star card is healing in the tarot deck. So those were your stages of healing. And now you've done a complete evolution, sort of revolution, 360, at least a 180, because I'm looking at this King of Fire, and I feel like if somebody has said something to you that was not nice, or you think back to it, and that's that look that you have on your face, like, who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? I mean, you absolutely think this person's ridiculous now. It doesn't even faze you. So, that's great. And, I want to make mention of the Sun card here. If you saw my Aquarius reading, I think I did it last week, there was a card where the children they looked like they were coated in like a gold coating. It was in the other deck. And I made mention of the Emmy Awards, how they reminded me of trophies or statues. So, the sun out of either deck, but it's going to mean the same thing. Kudos to you, Libra, because you deserve an award for 2019 for doing a stand-up job. Because looking back, it seems like there were about an equal amount of good months and bad months. You did an excellent job. I don't think any of the other Zodiac signs could have done it like you. A typical Libra, style and class. And I was also getting the same energy that was with the Queen, or with the King of Fire as the Queen, with the Queen of Swords. You know, kind of just like pushing back. But I'm also seeing here that there's somebody from your past. I don't know, I don't really think work. It could be a family member. No, I don't think it's work. Unless it's a Gemini or maybe a Sagittarius, it could be at work. But other than that, it's this person, and it's either a relationship that's not very good right now, or it's an ex, or it's just somebody that you'd have to have an emotional relationship with. And these swords are representing words. And I'm seeing this person. See how this guy is taking the swords away? They're representing words. Like, maybe this person was kind of taking it's taking your words away from you. So over a period of time, maybe 7 years, because of the 7, or maybe 5 years. But anyway, this person that's how many swords are in the picture. And then, yeah, and the King of Fire and the Queen of Swords are just, like, pushing back now. They, you know, like, come at me. Second, I need to drink. I'm gonna try to turn this phone up too. My family just got home and I don't know how loud they'll be, so I'll turn this music up. And, you know, my parents, they talk really loud sometimes because, you know, they're old and their hearing's not so great. Oh, that's nice. I'm glad that's not my good phone. See, I told you I didn't have enough room here. I've got to find a different setup. I'm trying. And yeah, I've lost my train of thought. We'll get it back, right? My rising sign is Libra, but I don't know that, I don't have that clarity of thought all the time. I guess Scorpio season kind of, impedes that. There's something else going on here. This, Two of Pentacles balancing this relationship, or this rocky relationship, or something you need to speak about. You're working really hard on trying to make a decision whether to speak up or whether or not to balance your words. But all this green on these cards is just making me think of the heart chakra, and there's a huge heart energy here on the King of Fire. So speak from your heart is the message that I'm getting. You always do. I don't think you should change for the season. Be authentic. And I'm also getting like a high vibe, blue vibe kind of message from this card here, I guess because of the up and down. And yeah, there's more scales here on this card. A lot of balance. And at one point in your life, he made you feel small, and now you're getting all the coins. This person really tried to, I don't know, put you through a period of degradation, almost. Sad. If you're there now, you will get out of it. It's all over this reading. This Page of Pentacles, I mean, I'm seeing he's still balancing. Yeah, more balance. And I had two messages coming together, like overall messages for this reading, and it could apply, both messages could apply to somebody. But I was also seeing the Page of Pentacles here, looking at it like as a gift. But I'll elaborate on that in a minute. But the thing that I was talking about that kind of like surprised me a little bit was the amount of duplicate cards I got from my decks. I mean, I'm using different decks, and I don't know. It was just a confirmation of the message. It was a very strong message that needed to get through. And here, and this card, you're trying to balance your emotions. This card, you've got a handle on them, like you're holding. And I think, yeah, that's where you are. You're going to be there shortly. And yeah, some people are enough to make anybody emotionally unstable, and like I said, it can be very disconcerting for you, but you're going to be alright. You work really hard on analyzing your thoughts and speaking the truth, because that's the epitome of Libra, right? And again, these duplicate cards are just reverberating the energy to you. This was a very pressing message, and I think it was really trying to get you to stay true to yourself and exhibit the qualities of Libra. And the Nine of Pentacles is a card of self-esteem. And I'm looking at these coins of like memories or painful memories or things that you've overcome and you've hung them up, like you've hung it out to dry. But then you had the 8 working on your pentacles, Aka emotions. Then you had the 9, then you had the 1 where you were balancing, and then it equaled 9. So it's a male or female, this self-confidence has been damaged, but like the red in her dress is reminding me of pain, but the white is more healing, and she kind of looks like a nurse. I just feel like you're healing, or you've healed yourself. You've worked through it. I still see a little pain in her eyes, a little bit, or maybe not so much pain, but just like a sense of like a lull feeling when she was looking at that tree. I kind of pick up emotions from the messages when I look at the people, and sometimes they're different all the time. It's weird. Excuse me. Yeah, this Judgment card is really reminding me also of the Temperance card. And it's a card that usually means karma, but since it does Judgment, it's just kind of feels, Libra-esque, and I think this is a message for you to say what you need to say. I mean, look, the cherub is blowing through the trumpet, and with the red cross down the bottom, speaking out is your way to heal. Your intuition is accurate, and if it's a head over heart decision, the green in these cards is answering the question for you. Speak from your heart. If people don't like it, they'll get over it, right? There will be a day of reckoning for this person if they've hurt you. Have you ever heard the expression that the pen is thy sword? Words, swords, sort of. I don't know, I get scribe and word and sword. I don't know. I believe in karma. It's just me. When somebody intentionally tries to hurt you, they'll pay for it some way or the other. And even if you can't see it, trust the universe will make it happen. But the other message that I was getting, on a lighter note, someone in a committed relationship is getting ready to get engaged or married. I think it's engaged. Christmas or New Year's, because these 2 cups reminded me of wine glasses or celebration glasses, and there's gold rings in them. And then this Lover's card is kind of reminded me of a Christmas scene. So there's going to be some holiday engagements, celebrations, love celebrations. If this is the person you've been having trouble with in the past and you are still in a relationship, don't get married to try to fix it, because that's not going to help. Maybe this was something that was going on in your past. For a very select few, people do have the ability to realize these things and set the proper boundaries and heal from it, if they're willing to work on it. But don't jump into a marriage thinking that it's going to heal your relationship. I don't mean to put a damper on the good news, but just make sure that your boundaries are respected on both sides, what each of you expect from the other one. I've mentioned clear communication throughout this whole reading thus far, and that's the only, once that's gone, it's gone. Oh, I did pull some Cartomancy cards, and I have 2 different Cartomancy decks, or they're actually just regular card decks. But since I was getting backed up messages from in my other decks, I was curious to see if it would happen with these cards, and it kind of did. I have the Ace of Spades here, but it's not a bad thing. Don't worry about it. The 2 of Diamonds, and it just means that your friends are going to tell you a secret, because, oh no, that's 4 diamonds. Yeah, your friends are going to trust you with a secret, and of course they will, because, you're Libra. You're the most trustworthy sign in the Zodiac system. And yeah, so in the 2 is just the 2 of Diamonds is just you could win something, or it's good luck. So I just see the Ace as negative energy, and it's a balance because you have good and bad, and I think it's another message saying that you're balanced. and the 2 of Hearts just says that it's a reminder that good things can lead to bad things and vice versa. And the 8 of Hearts is, success in an obstacle. And the Queen of Hearts was obviously the strongest woman in the card deck. So that's an incredible energy. The Ace of Spades is, it's just balance again. I mean, if you remember back in the beginning, you had Temperance and the Devil, and it's balance and decisions, and just a very, very Libra reading. And 2 Lovers, 2 Cups, and then, and the numbers on the cards, I don't know if you noticed this. I put them up really quick, so you probably didn't. The numbers have 2, 4, 8, and then if the aces or ones are 11, you'd have 2 or 22, and it would be 4 or 2 in tarot, the way they add the numbers. So it's very balanced. Yeah, I don't remember if I put her up, but yeah, she is the Queen of Hearts, the strongest woman in the deck. I think I did mention that, but I forgot to hold her up. Speak from your heart, because that is your strength, Libra. But that's what I meant about this reading coming out so smooth. But there's none of these messages would have come through if there hadn't been an energy purporting this. So, here on these cards, this is incredible. Honesty, the parrot, Orville the parrot, and Obi the retriever, and they're all pointing to their throat. And this one, his throat's lit up. And Obi the retriever is loyalty. And you can see the one's honesty. And parrots, they represent speaking loudly. Always use your voice, Libra. I'm going to have to stop saying that. You're going to get tired of me saying it. This message is just really strong. If you need to take a few minutes to think about what you're going to say, or even analyze it, that's fine. But don't ruminate over it. If it feels like it needs to be said, say it. You're damage control leader, I guess. You're good at that too, so. Oh, your animal spirit cards here. And you have so many cards here. I hope you have a lot of time to listen to this message. So, let's see here. You have the eagle. I was just getting legal eagles. Fairness, truth, justice. The justice system, basically. That's what it was founded on. And the elephant has the red dot in the middle of his head. Center of intuition, third eye. I think those little jewels are called bindis. And the elephant is supposed to represent Lord Ganesh from Hindu. And the unicorn's from the realm of ether, and that just represents keen insight and intuition. So, this is wonderful. On point, like the unicorn. Your intuition is on point. And then you have the moon in the center of the horse head here. Horses are said to be very intuitive as well. And then you have a star, because you win an award for balancing the whole Zodiac sign, because people really did show they're crazy this year. You know that. And if any of you are lawyers, you know that. Really, all you have to do is watch TV. I kind of see the unicorn and the horse here because they were like similar kind of species. It reminded me of the lovers a little bit because they kind of look like the horse is kind of acting studly. It looks kind of studly. But they did fall out together. These two did fall out together. And okay, let's get into the tough part of this reading. Okay, so I'm sure you remember me mentioning degradation of character, someone trying to take away your self-esteem, aka emotional abuse. I started seeing a lot of the fire on these cards. And I see an explosion on this card. An explosion on a card that would stand for truth and honesty and fairness. And then there's fire here. There's fire here. And you're holding this wand. Like you're holding on to this. And the red is making me think of anger. And since the green represents the heart chakra, there's just that. I'm getting the anger is consuming your heart. The pain. Yeah, the pain's consuming your heart. But now that ship has sailed. I see at one point you were waiting for an apology. Some of you still could be. But I don't know, the vibe I'm getting from this, I don't think you're going to get it. And I don't think you should care. I really don't. There's this paper written in psychology about the perils of obedience. And there was hold on, before I go there, there was a movie back in the 60s or 70s called Gaslight. And that's where the term gaslighting got coined from. I think some people can gaslight unintentionally and not realize that they do it, but it's a form of manipulation. And it's a form of manipulation that is intended to make the person question their state of mind or believe their own thoughts. And I'm kind of getting the feeling that somebody was being gaslighted, and that's how your confidence slowly dwindled away. And unbeknownst to you, you didn't even realize it was happening. And now that you realize it, or maybe now you realize it, maybe if you're listening to this, so there's just a lot of warning signs. If you question your thoughts, you can't make decisions on your own. It's that kind of stuff. You'll just lose yourself. So I'm gonna go back to this obedience thing. So Dr. Stanley Milgram, he was a professor, I want to say late 60s, early 70s. He had people come in, like one would play the student, one would play the teacher. I'm pretty sure this was at Yale. And so the person who was playing the teacher did not know that the experiment was rigged. However, the person playing the student knew what was going on in the experiment, and he wasn't really getting electrocuted. So Dr. Milgram wanted to demonstrate power, and if he would tell this person playing the teacher to electrocute the person in the chair if they didn't get answers right on their test, how far they would go if somebody was telling them that they had to keep doing it. And the results were disturbing. Now, they pre-screened the participants, and they tested out well balanced, and all this, experimental psychologists, scientists had to do was tell these students that they had to keep going. Now, obviously, he's in a position of power because they're students, and he's a professor. But they 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 amped up the test to get to kind of tweak the data output to have the students then say that they had a heart condition. I think this is how it went. And even at that point, the percentage of student, yeah, it would have been the teacher. Yeah. Only dropped by 2%. So the you you can just completely be balanced and have somebody just like completely take over your mind if they're yelling at you and telling you have to do something or gaslight you. Like that whole study was meant to be done to study the the SS, and how they were so obedient and do such monstrous things just because somebody was yelling at them and telling them to, like, how a human being could treat somebody like that. And I know this isn't nearly as severe, and I don't even know if these studies have ever been correlated or studied that way, but I found it fascinating that could happen. I don't know. I mean, wouldn't you think that the same cognitive processes or areas of the brain would be damaged by somebody yelling at you? I mean, obviously, it's on a different extremes, but it's still kind of the same. What was that other one? It's Stanford Prison Experiment. It's in the psych department at Stanford, and I think that was in like 71. What was that doctor's name? Yeah, Dr. Zimbardo. Dr. Zimbardo. And they did the same thing. I'm sure he had other people running this experiment with him. I don't know how he got away with this. I don't know if he hid it. I don't remember, but I don't know how he did this. It's so unethical. And so he had these people come in, split them up. Half of them were the guards, half of them were the students, or not the students, the prisoners. And he brought them in, split them up, gave the prisoners their jumpsuits, and the guards no weapons, but some sunglasses and some handcuffs, just a few little materials to make them feel stronger. And the things that ended up happening, I think this thing only lasted for 6 days. It was, I don't know how bad Abu Ghraib was, but it was like that, maybe even worse. And this really happened. This wasn't a fake, thing like Milgram's. This really happened. And I know that they made mention of the person the guard becoming more aggressive if they had sunglasses on. And one thing they noticed is that people would be meaner if they had sunglasses on or some sort of a mask because it didn't show their eyes. People have a hard time seeing pain in other people's eyes. So if somebody's ever being really mean to you or has been really mean to you, if you ever run it, they're not going to look you in your eye. Or you try looking them in the eye. Just see what happens. Just look them dead in their eye. And just tell them. I don't think you should tell them anything. I wouldn't even engage. But if you're in a situation where you would need to do that, look them in their eye. There's just something to be said here about how quickly these people broke down. These people who were, again, pre-screened, well balanced on even keel. I mean, these people were Gucci before they came in there, and I think in second or third day, one guy, he lost it. Then they all went crazy. in 6 days. I don't remember why they did the study either. I think it had something to do with the psychopathology of power and how people get high off of it. So put these two studies in context of what's going on in both of these dynamics on one end, where somebody is being overpowered and gaslighted, and how quickly they can become docile and obedient and completely lose their self-esteem. And on the other end, the other person is getting more powerful and more powerful the more they drive you down and get addicted to being mean because they're getting high off the power. And I made mention of psychopathology, but psychopath? Probably not. Sociopath? Maybe. These are extreme cases, though. This is for some of you, though, because I'm seeing this happen. And it may be a message like this that you hear and you'd be like, oh, wow, that's what's going on, because you might think that you're really not a good person or that you deserve this. You might be in that place right now. This person could even go as far as tell you you're emotionally unbalanced or emotionally unstable. And just take a minute. Be your Libra. Step back for a second before you react and think, am I emotionally imbalanced? Or am I having a normal emotional reaction to my situation? And if you're not sure what that is, look it up or call one of your friends, if you're allowed to have any. But a gaslighter will tell you that you're crazy, and eventually you'll start to believe it. And you'll I don't know, there are red flags that you could recognize in yourself. You just really feel like you can't do anything right. And at some level you take up for this person or you make excuses for them. Because then you have to rewind it back and start asking yourself, well, was I like this before? So it's important to keep a friend around you so you can have a fact checker, because this person will argue with you and tell you that you're wrong. They may even believe it too. Start writing stuff down. You know? Have proof. But yeah, here you're getting into a really, really good relationship here over the holidays for some of you. But if this is in your relationship, if I'm sitting here discussing something that happened in your past, it's gone and you're going to be very happy in the future. So definitely don't get your feedback from this from this person if you're trying to figure out datelines or things that have happened and that kind of stuff. Don't even ask them to try to legitimize anything, because they're gonna, if they are gaslighting you, they're gonna lie to you. Have that friend. Call your mom, call your grandmother. Hopefully we all have that one good friend that we can trust and tell anything to, right? I have about 2, 3, and they are invaluable friendships. And I have other friends, but just 2 or 3 really, really close ones that I can tell anything to call them anytime. And I know they tell me anything and everything too. And no judgment, you know. Those friendships are the best, you know, the real. I apologize for the boring psychology lectures, but I just started. I got really intrigued by the idea of the idea that, you know, completely normal people can be, I mean, who were, like I said, they were Gucci before they got in there, and at the rate that these people went downhill, and I know they were extreme circumstances, but over a period of time of exposure, and where you're being yelled at or basically mentally tortured. Women go through this for years, men go through this. Well, the other person gets high off the power, and you shrink. Your self-esteem shrinks. And the longer you're in it, the harder it's gonna be to get back. So if you are hearing this, that's what's going on, if you didn't realize it. If those things, and no, I'm not telling you what to do, but it might make a light bulb go off and be like, oh, I better call somebody. And the worst thing that could happen is, you know, you have kids in your home, right? And that toxicity is almost like a DNA code on. You don't want your son or your daughter to take that into their marriage and then have them take that into with their grandchildren. So be the one to stop it if you can. Okay, on to the next thing. I think I've mentioned in a couple of my other card readings, and I know I didn't mention in all of them, I meant to. When I first started reading cards a few years ago, I would get messages from songs. Like, sometimes I would dream these songs that I hadn't listened to in a long time. Or it just, like, the song would pop in my head, and there would always be a message in it, and it would happen a lot when I was doing card readings. But I'm also a person who pays a lot of attention to lyrics in songs, because I love words, especially words that are kind of poetic, and then I love music too, so it's just, but yeah, I got a really clear song for this, and I'm gonna start putting the links to the songs. I was posting the video actually on my Facebook page before the video would come up. The song for your reading it's by Sarah McLachlan. It's called Possession. Probably came out in late 90s, mid 90s, early 2000s. I cannot remember, but it's a very good song. In the video, the depiction is supposed to be of Lilith and Adam, I think, part of it. And she's bound in this white gauze. Like, her mouth is wrapped up and her head's all wrapped up. Like, you know, like she can't speak or anything. And it's all about her coming out and unraveling. And it's a really cool song. And I'm sure you guys have probably heard it because it was probably really famous. So I'm going to link that in your video with your cards. So I think that's one thing I got out of the way I wanted to say after I've been rambling on. You might not have to go to class tomorrow. Listen to all this stupid psychology stuff. It's really actually not stupid to me. I find those studies fascinating on human behavior. I still don't know how they got away with it, though. Oh, yeah. By the way, it was a full moon in Taurus. And Libra's sitting there like, and what? And what? You want me to, like, get all hype about a full moon in Scorpio season just because it's in Taurus? Taurus can be grounded all they want, but you're on a Scorpio axis. Libra's like, I balance the emotions of the Zodiac system. It's not gonna get any better. Just try to meditate, walk around outside in your bare feet, do something. But good luck. I do realize that Taurus is strong, but a bull will drown. And the bull's on Scorpio's axis. So this full moon isn't really anything to get too excited about. And I'm sure there aren't many people that are getting excited about it. So I guess it means the next one would be in Gemini. Oh, great. That's just what we need. No, I'm serious. Some Geminis around the holidays. It's perfect. Because Geminis make everybody happy. We will be so overdue for some Gemini moon by the time this is over. I'm looking for something. Sorry. Hold on. I probably could have cut this video shorter. Oh, yeah, there's a quote that I wanted to read you. Okay, it says, and this is from Dr. Milgram, the doctor from Yale who did the first experiment with the electrocution thing. And Dr. Milgram says, and I quote, "I set up a simple experiment at Yale University to test how much pain an ordinary citizen would inflict on another person simply because he was ordered to by an experimental scientist. Stark authority was pitted against the subject's strongest moral imperatives against hurting others, and with the subject's ears ringing with the screams of the victims, authority won more often than not. The extreme willingness of adults to go to almost any willingness and any lengths on the command of an authority constitutes the chief finding of the study and the fact most urgently demanding explanation," unquote. So it did prove what he set out to do, I guess. It's just sad. We did read this, I think my second year in college. A couple different philosophy passages about the Holocaust and that kind of stuff. And I never paid attention to history that much. Well, not U.S. history. I did, like, when I was younger, but then when I got older, I just, like, my interest became more in science and that kind of stuff. So I didn't really know that much about what went on there, and then I wanted to learn everything I could about it, because the psychology behind it, it's fascinated me. And then I'll get off here soon, but I ended up reading Viktor Frankl, and I'm drawing a blank, but it's Frankl, Frankl, Viktor Frankl, and it has something to do with the meaning of life. Or probably, there are very few books that have profoundly changed me, and that book was one of them. And I've picked up the Gulag Archipelago several times, and I started reading it and then put it down, and then I'd read it some more and then I'd put it down. And I mean, I still like it. It was just I would pick it up during a time where I didn't have time to finish it. They're just really good books. I say there was another one. I really do want to say there was another one I was reading. I can't remember right now. But anyway, if any of you are really, ultimately, the message is here, if you're in this relationship, or you need to speak up and say something, and what I was mainly getting is that for most of you, it's not really like this abusive dynamic thing or whatever. It's just somebody treating you less than what you need to be treated. And it could be at work. Just because those cards came out with lovers in there doesn't mean that some of this message could mean that it had to be somebody at your job or somebody in your family. I mean, yeah, worst case scenario, it's somebody that you live with and somebody that you love who's disrespecting you and making you feel like you're 2 inches tall, right? But the overall message here was not to keep your mouth shut, because the energy during Scorpio season can also want to make you keep your mouth shut. Like, I'm getting like clam up. You know, if you have any questions or you want to talk to somebody, message me or send me a message. I'll talk to you. You know, if you know, anything. But it just seemed, it was a very strong message that needed to come through to somebody. And for somebody who's in that situation and does not realize what's going on, I didn't know anything about gaslighting or anything like that until it popped up in, I don't know, some book that I was reading a couple years ago. As much as I had studied behavior and stuff like that before, I never heard of that term because I wasn't looking at relationship psychology like that, you know? And it happens so covertly sometimes and slowly. It's meant. Oh. I'm gonna start doing these readings by Zodiac season instead of by months. Bye, everybody. I will see you next month. I'll bring my bedazzled mallet. Judge Judy out. Bye.